I want to thank you for joining me again as we continue on with our series, From Other to One Another, our daily devotional series that accompanying our Sunday morning sermon series. I want to thank you for joining us for that as we explore the richness of our relationships with one another. When I was in college, I went to visit a fellow student during Christmas break my freshman year. And during that visit, we went to their farm, and at their farm they had horses, and decided to take me out for a ride on horses. And it's the first time, other than a trail ride in Indian guides, that I had been on a horse, and we went out and we rode out in the open. On the way back, I asked, do you want to take the horse on a run? And I, sure, I'll take the horse on a run. And said, okay, all I need to do is just kick the hind quarter of the horse and just flow with it, run with it as you go. And so I kicked the hind quarter of the horse, and it took off. And I wasn't ready for the start of that run that it had, and I began to slide off the side of the horse, and I was riding actually on the side before they were able to come back and slow the horse to a walk that I was able to get off. You see, the horse didn't like being kicked in the side. The verse in Hebrews chapter 10, where it talks about a relationship with one another, that because of the confidence that we have in Christ, the confidence that we have that He has come and opened up God's presence for us so that we can, with confidence, enter into God's presence. And then the writer of Hebrews says, well, here's the difference that makes, that confidence that you have to open up, to walk into God's presence ought to have this difference in how you relate to one another. In verse 24, let us consider then how we are to, one translation says, stir one another up towards love and good works. Another translation says, let's consider how we may spur one another on towards love and good deeds. The issue there is the issue with that this is not just a pleasant kind of, let me encourage you, let me invite you, let me warmly, just graciously. But the idea here is that the Hebrew writer is giving is, because we have this confidence before God, vigorously work in each other's lives to bring about love and good deeds. It's the vigorous stirring of the batter to get all of the lumps out. It's the spurring of the horse to get it going from a simple walk to a gallop. You see, sometimes I think the reason why we have so many lame Christians in the church today is that we are so careful not to offend one another that we never really push one another on towards development. You see, there is some hint of unpleasantness in here. Now, the Hebrew writer is not saying go out and offend one another in order to push one another towards Christ-likeness and love and good deeds. But he's saying push one another hard enough that you get each other off of the pew. That you move one another from that place of being stationary and immovable to becoming the kind of person that God desires. Let's consider how to stir one another or spur one another on to love and good deeds. Is there somebody that really needs you to put the pressure on, to put the heat on? They're following after Christ. They've fallen into negative routines and negative habits. They've gotten lazy spiritually. And they need you to push them on and not be lazy any longer.